Okay, so I know what you're looking at right now is the Aero6 kit on my Fox, but I've only done this on one side and it's actually just mocked up on this side. What I'm going to go through in this is actually how we go about putting these on my car. This is an 87 Fox, and this kit is the Aero6 six-piston caliper kit that is available through RoadRace1. So here's all the parts for the other side, and we're going to go over and do those. So bear with me as I kind of step through all the various steps. Step number one, drain your fluid. I've actually already drained the other side, so you can see that there's only a very little bit of fluid coming out into my bleeder bottle there. But this is just to save you from having brake fluid all over. I hate stepping in fluid, so do yourself a favor. Existing brakes, go ahead and drain it. All right, so here on the Mustang, we're back over here on the passenger side, and I'm going to start removing the Cobra Brimbos that are on it currently. There are 2 bolts on the back. Hopefully people know this already. I already started loosening these, so they should come out relatively easy. But this is just a quick disassemble of the current setup. And there's another one, ooh, right down there. So I'm gonna get that guy out. And I'll go ahead and remove the caliper here in a second. All right, so off camera, I went and got the other bolt out, and then of course the caliper immediately fell. All right, I went ahead and removed the caliper. It was kind of stuck on the rotor because it's been sitting for a little bit, for a couple weeks. Nonetheless, really the easy portion is removing the rotor. So now we're down to just the bare hub, the brake, well, usually a brake shield, but in this case, the brake cooling duct and the perch. All right, so back over to my parts array. As I've told you, I already installed, at least for mock-up purposes, the setup on the driver's side. So the passenger side is as follows. We have the perch. The bolts that come to mount the perch also come with all of this zinc-coated hardware you see here. These two, they actually have a B stamp on them. I don't know why. Maybe for bolt, I don't know. I didn't look at the directions because I'm a man, so it happens that way. But these are certainly spacers to be able to space the caliper perch from the factory perch mount. So you have these array of spacers are to space this guy out as needed to center the caliper and the rotor. So also one thing I'm going to point out, or a couple things I'm going to point out while I'm here. This arrow direction is direction of travel. It is for the cooling vanes and the rotor, so be sure that this is the direction of travel. I know cars go backwards, but this is for main point of travel for fun people on the internet. Anyway, that arrow is for direction. This arrow is also for direction. This is in the caliper, so this signifies the passenger side. Usually your largest piston is the forward as well, just for everybody's knowledge. That's typical. So this is the passenger side, that's the passenger side. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get my blue Loctite. We're gonna bolt the hat to the rotor using these 8mm 12-point head. Really, really nice hardware, by the way. This is like exceptional hardware that comes with this kit. Really, really good so far. So really quick, I'm gonna go ahead, I'll do this, bolt this onto that. I'll show you a couple of them just so I apply Loctite, and then I'll probably do the rest off camera. All right, so I've got my rotor, my hat, blue Loctite, bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over, set it on the hat, and I apologize, I'm filming with one hand, working with the other, so this is not gonna be as, let's say, streamlined as I would like it. All right, so I've got it pretty well lined up there. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put up a handful of these guys. And then I'm gonna apply some Loctite to those and mount them down. All right, so this is how I apply my Loctite. Full disclosure, it's the first time I've ever used this Permatex gel blue Loctite. Huge fan, by the way. That is the niftiest little gizmo I've used in a long time. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and apply the Loctite and then I'm going to start them by hand. Of course, I don't have it lined up ideally, so there we go. Now it should start. Yeah, there it went. And then I'm going to apply a little bit to this one. See, check this out. You got like it's like a little dispenser style. Get a little bit of Loctite on there. Boom, done. That is a beautiful thing. All right, and now I've got my little impactor here. I'm going to just buzz these down, and then I'm going to torque these. Based on the size, I'm going to torque them to 12 foot-pounds. All right, well, there you have it. I have now assembled them, all 12 bolts. I would torque these just as you would a lug pattern, bolt lug pattern. Go across and then make like a star, that kind of thing. All right, guys, something I just pulled out of the package, and I want to make sure I note. Something unique to the Mustang is passenger side and driver side, the lines feeding to the flex hose, or the flex lines, these guys, going to the caliper. The driver's side and passenger side are different sizes. So if you look at this, you'll see one is a little different color, and I don't think the color has much to do with other than they're different manufacturers maybe. But the one on the right in this image you'll see is larger in diameter than the one on the left. The one on the left goes on the passenger side, the one on the right goes on the driver's side. And I don't know if it was Ford's failed attempt at trying to poke-yoke the process and trying to make a right and a left only, or if there was some logical reason. I honestly don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know, but I do know for a fact from owning these cars through the years that right and left are different, and Willwood was kind enough to understand that difference and send two different versions with this kit. So be mindful that if you get to one side first and it doesn't fit, try the other one. There's a good chance that you've got the opposite side. So that's that. Otherwise, these two go in the backs of the calipers, and then are just flare fittings to go into these really nice coated braided lines that Willwood supplied. So that's that. All right, so I just did this off camera. This little circlip here has to be pulled out of this groove up here to be able to get this to slide out, and then you can turn and get the fitting off, and that will relieve me of my caliper, which I left the banjo bolt and everything bolted in because I didn't want to deal with it. So gonna be pulling that apart, and then, by the way, I also bolted the perches on. The perches go bolt through this way, and you shim the back of this if needed, if you need more space towards the back and less in the front. I think that they bias this way because they're probably pretty close, and then you shim to your exact needs. But yeah, that's the perch mounted. And I'm getting ready to take the old caliper line loose. All right, so off camera, I went ahead and put that fitting in that I discussed earlier. This side is the one that has the ferrule on it to hold that one in place. This is the side that holds it. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rotor on, slide the caliper on, and get the line set. So here goes nothing. All right, so there you have it. I have bolted on the absolutely beautiful rotor. The caliper's just sitting on there, but I did hook up the lines to make sure everything fit. These are not routed yet. I don't know how exactly I might change it, but might change it a little bit. I'm gonna put some thread sealant on the little ferrule down here. But other than that, my goodness, what a beautiful kit. Easy, I think start to finish, even with letting the fluid drain about an hour, probably took an hour and a half. So yeah, super simple, worth the time, worth the effort. And thank you to RoadRace1 for supplying the kit. Thank you to Willwood for making such a seamless setup for us. Really great for we Mustang guys that want to road race our cars. So fantastic.